Hello there, and welcome to Counterplot. Right, I think it's safe to say that all of us have had some level of fascination with monsters and creatures over the years. Whether that was when you were 3 years old and you got your mum to check under the bed before you went to sleep, or when you woke up during the night and you were too scared to go to the toilet because it was dark, or if you're 70 years old and you're watching all the horrors unfold on the news and you're scared to even leave the house. So today we won't be talking about recent monsters like Baby Shark or Katie Hopkins or Jeremy Clarkson. So shut the curtains, turn off the lights and get under your bed covers. Because today we're talking about the most legendary monsters and creatures of the British Isles. So where better to start than the most famous monster on our list and possibly the most famous monster in the world. Number 5, the Loch Ness Monster. Scotland. Home of the rolling countryside and breathtaking scenery, and, of course, the Scottish. Now, I'm not quite sure how the legend of Nessie became so famous. You'd have thought the people of Scotland would have lost interest in talking about a dinosaur by now, given they have so many other interesting things to talk about. Like making annoying noises by blowing through a pipe that's been shoved in a sheep's gut, the curling of stones, the tossing of logs, the clubbing of balls, or the national football team. However, the fascination of Nessie has continued to grow. Loch Ness holds as much fresh water as all the lakes of England and Wales combined, but the peat of the surrounding countryside makes it notoriously murky as the legend that surrounds its most famous character. Nessie is often described as a large, long-necked creature with one or more humps along its back that has been seen at times protruding out of the water. Imagine, if you will, Caitlyn Jenner swimming on her back with a Wellington boot over her head. It is thought that the monster is a descendant from the long extinct plesiosaur, which died out approximately 65 million years ago. The first known recorded sightings of the monster is from over 1400 years ago, where the local Picts would carve strange aquatic creatures into the stones. In the 1930s, the Loch Ness Monster became a media phenomenon after Scott Adie McKay saw what she described as the beast rolling in the water. After that, letters and photos began streaming and even a circus offered 20 grand reward for the capture of the beast. After a few days of search in the loch, some bloke named Weatherall, who was an actor and a film producer, reportedly found footprints of a four-legged large creature. In response, the Daily Mail, who aren't usually known for overhyping questionable newsworthy information, published the dramatic headline, "Monster of Loch Ness is not legend, but a fact." However, the plaster casts was sent to the British Natural History Museum and sadly reported back that the tracks were that of a hippopotamus. After this, Nessie mania began to die down. However, sightings of the beast still trickling in to this day. Not to worry though, with the Loch Ness Monster being Scottish, and the eating of the local cuisine of battered Mars bars and iron brew and porridge with golden syrup, Nessie will be long gone by now. At number 4, we've got Cornish pixies. The belief in pixies all over Cornwall is sought to explain the odd phenomena around the area, especially in the mining areas where stories of these mischievous little shits would help them acquire the status of supernatural vermin during the 19th century, around Cairn Candyjack and Wood Gompers Common, where the folklore would take a sinister turn. The Cairn and the Common are where the devil is believed to ride astride a black horse and would search late at night for fresh souls, and leaving hapless mortals running for cover to escape his grasp. Dancing lights are seen to this day on Wood Gompers and Cairn Candyjack, which is known as the Hootin' Cairn. On account of the wail the wind makes through the granite rock face that thrusts out of the landscape like an angry zit. They might not, however, be as malign as the devil, but stories of these pesky little pixies and the interactions they have with humans tell how they have the power to abduct, befuddle and even lead people astray over the landscape. You are more vulnerable if you happen to find yourself on a fairy path, or the ley lines that connect the fairy forts with their various and equally mysterious stone structures and ancient burial sites. And that brings us to number 3 on our list, which is the Black Dog. It would be safe to say the most common mystical creature in Britain is probably the Black Dog, with different areas of the UK having their very own stories about the mysterious hound. Along the coastal flats of East Anglia, the Black Shuck is said to prowl. He has appeared at crossroads, graveyards and deep forests. The calf-sized beast with saucer-shaped eyes would leave behind scorched claw marks on buildings that have been damaged during electrical storms. It's been said that the Black Shuck, when it's close by, it will fill you with a sudden and severe sense of dread. The Cussith, however, is a Scottish Highland version of the Black Dog, and it's a wolf-like creature the size of a bull, but this one is explained to be very dark green, almost black. It lives in the clefts of rocks and carries away the souls to the afterlife. Another spectral hound with saucer-shaped eyes, the Cussith is said to howl 3 times. And if you're not at a place of safety by the 3rd howl, then you'll be filled with such a mortal terror you will literally be frightened to death. The Black Dog of Bunting Nook, however, is a particularly suburban version of the Black Dog. It prowls along quiet, leafy lanes on the outskirts of Sheffield. The dog appears from nowhere in front of cars and makes the engines stall. For some reason, it is only interested in the car's passenger. The hound dematerialises into a green mist if it is ever threatened. And blending seamlessly into number 2, we have the Beast of Bodmin Moor. When I think of the Cornish, I somehow think of a pirate eating a pasty that's absolutely wasted on apple cider. So it's no surprise they have more creatures connected to them than RuPaul's Drag Race. And reports of little beasties keep trickling through. This one, however, is more actual big cat as opposed to late night pasty cider pirate eyes. And the reports of big cats on the moor seem to coincide with reports of missing livestock and actual human attacks. Private illegal zoos and illegal releases have been blamed for the presence of these ferocious felines on the moor, as when the cats get too big and too expensive to care for, the owners would release their pet predators into the wild hoping to avoid prosecution, allowing the beast to wreak absolute havoc on the local wildlife. There is reports of big cats up and down the country, including a puma that was captured in Scotland, proven to have been domesticated at some point, as the massive eating machine actually liked being tickled. Number 1, the Owlman of Mornan. At the end of a mile-long sheltered narrow lane, the small churchyard of Mornan was a sacred spot long before the 13th century church was built here, with views over the mouth of the Halford River. Here, and in an adjacent wood, sightings of a flying creature about 5 feet tall, half man, half owl, with glowing red eyes, silver feathers and crab-like claws, have terrified tourists since the 1970s. Oddly, all but one of the dozen or so eyewitnesses of the Owlman have been girls or young women under the age of 16. So remember, wherever you are tonight, whether that's hiding under your bed, behind your sofa or even on your mum's toilet, just remember you're not safe. There's nowhere to hide. There is something out there that wants to eat you, maul you, steal your soul and torment you. And as you can see, the world's gone mental. Bye. Oh yeah, before I forget, click on the links will you? Cheers.